Hey guys, Alpha J. So, the funny thing about YouTube and the funny thing about this animation series is that the way that it's going, recently it hasn't been that hard to figure out what I'm going to post next. You see, after my We Bare Bears burrito review video got taken down because of copyright and I had to re-edit it to put it back up, I realized that not only has my video quality improved, but the way that I explain myself has really improved. And around the time that I started, doing these animation videos, I realized, hey, I really don't hate this show. I don't hate Teen Titans Go at all. Still going on for a third season, but if you came for a long rant about how they suck and ruined the original Teen Titans series, you're not getting that from me. I'm sure there's another person out there who's already done that too. Instead, I'm gonna play the yes, no, maybe card. Are they bad? Yes and no. They are stupid. This show is a very stupid show. But is it negatively affecting the lives of our children? Maybe, I can't really tell. But I can tell you this. Teen Titans Go did not start out bad. In fact, I still like the first episode, despite further ones down the line. Why? Well, let's check it out. So it starts out on a Monday with Beast Boy playing a video game until Robin interrupts him. Also, he's way too close to the TV. Let me explain some of his actions further down this series. Robin describes this emergency as him being hungry. Beast Boy, after working so hard to get to that boss level, is noticeably annoyed. This sequence extends onto Cyborg on Tuesday, which forms an ongoing joke later in the episode, then to Starfire on Wednesday, which extends to an animation pet peeve I'll talk about later, and lastly to Raven, which goes off onto a one-off gag. Also, can you believe that this one-off gag of Aqualad being a DJ would lead on to another episode in which Robin, along with Cyborg and Beast Boy, are dancing outside of his gig? Also, writers, how come Robin is able to go into the gig here, but next time he doesn't want to go because he can believe you can get a similar quality for free? This isn't the first time writers blatantly switch the attitudes of their characters, and it won't be the last. So now on a Friday, every Titan is basically really annoyed at Robin for basically being his personal driver for stupid reasons.
I found a guy on the internet. He says he'll get my license back, no problemo.
Sounds kinda sketchy, Robin.
Alright, remember when I said I was going to talk about that animation pet peeve? Look at Silky this entire sequence. He, I think, never moves or blinks or does anything that shows that the animators did not forget about him. I'm gonna go with him. Now, if this was a background or crowd, it might get a pass, but if you're gonna go and put in the effort for everyone else in the sketch, I expect everyone to be at least moving in some shape or form. Other than that, the opening isn't really bad. Yes, it's formulaic, but I don't mind. It's not like they use this setup anymore in this series anyway. So Robin explains that his license was suspended after he blew up the Batmobile. Whether he was a good driver before that or not isn't stated, and before you link his experiences with Batman to prove that he was or wasn't, A, this is a different show. B, this does not take much continuity from it that doesn't lead to a Joker bait or switch episode. And C, I just don't care. So he says that the driver is on the up and up, but doesn't state a reason why. Fair enough, I guess. Cartoons don't fully have to explain themselves. So Robin is instructed to meet on the side of a street next to a bank. Fairly strange, but he gets in anyway. I'm not gonna lie, that was actually one of the few moments in this episode that got a laugh out of me. I mean, it's not really a funny episode, it's more story driven. On a side note, do I say that every episode that I review? Because, I honestly feel that there wasn't many jokes in here. It's just a long joke of Cyborg, oh, who's Starfire? Because Robin took him off while he was doing his data backup, which wasn't really funny. So if you wouldn't laugh at it the first time, you won't laugh the 5th time. So Robin takes off in the vehicle, slightly noticing the cops and the squad cars and the alarm, but every time he notices, he gets a deduction.
Hey, what's that noise? Is that...
Pull out into traffic and proceed through the intersection.
But what about that...
And that's a deduction.
So Robin ends up failing his driver's ed test with the instructor wanting him to meet again. He escapes the cops and for some reason the police just give up, I guess. I won't hold the police for anything here, they're slightly less intelligent than the GTA police. Wait a minute, Master Driver, why would you hang up your failed driver's test?
Laughing at your shortcomings makes us all feel better about ourselves.
That's the stupid moment. Every Teen Titans Go episode has a stupid moment. A line that isn't silly, it isn't clever, it's just a stupid line that is self-aware of its stupidity. Maybe I should do a compilation on it, but I just have better things to do with my time. Also, why is Starfire's skirt flowing? There isn't anything else in the shot that's affected by wind. Before you say that it's because she's floating, what about her hair?
The good thing is I can keep retaking the test until I pass.
Isn't it like 2 times and you're out? I don't know, I have a driver's ed manual and I haven't read it yet. So Robin goes off on a montage of failing while aiding the driving instructor on his crime spree. And then there's this one shot that isn't explained. Alright Robin, so you drove through a cop barricade and over the cop cars, being really aware that in front of you is a whole bunch of cop cars. Why? Well, you're not gonna explain that either? Oh, I guess, you know, you're driving, I understand. You probably don't even think about these things, guys, if you aren't really watching it closely. But here's my thing. With Looney Tunes all the way down the regular show, there have been shows in which looking at them more closely makes the episode look better. Do you know what it means when you look deeply into a show and it gets worse and worse? That means your show is surface deep, superficial. But like I said, this is a stupid show. And not stupid as in retarded, not stupid as in bad. Let me be clear. This show runs on a stupid logic, not cartoon logic. And no, you don't need to be a realistic show, but at the same time, you can't throw crap on the wall, switch it, and then complain since it's a cartoon and you can get away with it. And lastly, before you tell me to chill out, realize that they spammed Teen Titans Go on Cartoon Network. And also bear in mind that I have a certain cable package in which I have Cartoon Network East and West. And West is basically 3 hours behind. Do you know what it means when both Cartoon Network East and West, which are 3 hours apart, have Teen Titans Go on a marathon every single day? Do you know what I feel like when I seen Teen Titans Go on Cartoon Network East and West and they're 3 hours apart? There was no escaping this. So if they want me to watch it, then I'm going to state my opinion.
By the Money Factory.
Alright, now if I went into the fact that the Money Factory is in the city, now that is nitpicking. I know that Money Factory is a stupid part of the montage, but yes, it's unguarded, and yes, the news would have caught them, but I'm not going to rail on them for being unrealistic. The way that cartoons are, they can have their own rules. I'm railing on it for being stupid and lazy, but on a lighter note, welcome home, honey, how was work? The chief put me on the same case multiple times, and each time I couldn't nab the suspect. Well, did they send in any other cops? Yes, but we couldn't catch them. He went into the water, couldn't get our uniforms wet. So the other Titans find out about Robin. You see how concerned they are? Now this is real emotion.
Hey, is that Robin?
He's supposed to be meeting his driver's ed instructor. I don't know why he's in front of a jewelry store.
They actually play out pretty well, a bit dull, but I'd rather them go under than over considering their creative intentions at times. So instead of following the cycle of listening to an instructor and failing, he decides to take the initiative and drive his own path. You see, I'm not going to get all up in arms about the fact that they had little momentum and little power and somehow they got into space. But that is not space, that's underground. I'm pretty sure if you put a digging animation in front of both of their cars, it will look that way. Also, those stars are gonna drive me crazy. It's on a loop! After Robin killed, handicapped, mutilated, or assaults that leprechaun, the driver reveals himself as the robber who used Robin as a getaway driver. Try saying that 3 times fast. Robin says that he knew, and instead of arresting him like what any other hero would do, he sends them to the demon zone where his body will be sold to the devil. Great! He gets away with the crimes, leaving the scene of a crime, and I don't care what you guys say, that's assault. I don't care what sound effect you play over it. That was painful to watch. Overall, this episode, and I'll talk about the series in a whole in another episode, is slightly lower than a solid episode. I mean, on one hand, it tells a story without too much, if any, filler. The jokes, while not funny to me, seems to be acceptable if that's the word I want to use, maybe functional. Overall, it's a good start, and if it stayed on this level, I wouldn't care, but it raised the ante a stupid and cranked the knob off on some episodes. You see, Robin works in this episode because he doesn't come across as narcissistic or arrogant. He isn't shoving the fact that he's a master driver in everyone's face. He isn't constantly trying to prove something while completely denying that he's physically unable to do it. He was trying to drive. He was trying to pass. So he works in this episode. Fortunately for me, I'll explain why Robin works in this episode and not the future ones next week. Alright guys, this was my review of Teen Titans Go's episode Driver's Ed, and you know what series I'm going to be doing next week. So if you like this, please support me, thumbs up, comment below what you think. I'll try to reply to all of them. And if you like my content so far, please subscribe. I'm not going anywhere. And I hope your time has been well spent. And Alpha out.